Hello, welcome everyone. Hi, I'm Mandy Jested, and I have the honor of serving as Vice Chair of the Board of the Women's Foundation of Florida. And on behalf of the Women's Foundation, I just want to welcome you all here to Women's Equality Day. We are so grateful to be able to host this event along with Pernue from Rohi's Readery, who's also going to say a few words too now.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here today. I just wanted to speak a little bit about why Women's Equality Day today and why we sort of wanted to bring everyone together. And thank you all for being here, whether you've just joined us or you've spent the day with us. You could have been anywhere in the entire world, and you intentionally chose to be here. So thank you. So just a little bit about why Women's Equality Day. Kimberly Crenshaw, an American law professor who coined the term in 1989, explained intersectional feminism as a prism for seeing the way in which various forms of inequality often operate together and exacerbate each other. All inequality is not created equal. An intersectional approach shows the way that people's social identities can overlap, creating compounding experiences of discrimination. The most affected by gender inequalities are also the most marginalized, including Black and brown women, Indigenous women, women in rural areas, young girls, girls living with disabilities, trans youth, and gender nonconforming youth. Standing in solidarity with one another, questioning power structures, and speaking out against root causes of inequalities are critical actions for building a future that leaves no one behind. It illuminates the connections between all fights for justice, and liberation, rooting out all forms of oppression simultaneously. And to the dear young minds, today I want to talk about the concept of liberation, what it means, why it matters, and how it can shape the path that you choose. Liberation is not just a word. It's a powerful idea that speaks to breaking free the limitations, prejudices, and injustices. It's about embracing your true self and passions and dreams without being held by societal norms and expectations. Liberation is not a solitary journey. It's a collective effort. Here today, this is what collective power looks like. It's a collective effort that involves understanding the struggles of others, standing up against injustice, and striving for a world where every person has an opportunity to thrive. Today, as you embark on your journey, our incredible youth that are around us, look around us and look at all of the incredible youth that are sitting here at every age. Can we give them a round of applause? This is our youth. Let your values guide you. Let your dreams inspire you to create a world that celebrates the uniqueness of every individual. Today, we're here in solidarity, and we thank you for being with us today. And I'm going to pass it back to Mandy, who's going to be introducing our keynote speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pernue. Well said. Thank you. So I have the distinct honor of introducing to you our keynote speaker, Tiffany Lanier. She is a change and well-being keynote speaker, facilitator, author, and founder. She is on a mission to help us not only navigate change, but to learn to embrace and thrive through it. Whether she is working to shift our morning culture and create intentional well-being experiences through her company, The Morning Shift, giving keynotes at conferences around the world, or providing I Can't Wait to Vote events for students, her mission to activate change within you for collective well-being stays true. So when organizations like Capital One, Ford, United Way, and the U.S. Small Business Association are looking to inspire and transform their people and audiences, they call Tiffany. So I'm very happy to introduce you to Tiffany.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Pernue. So I wrote this book. I Can't Wait to Vote. In June of 2020, I remember looking over at my daughter's cute little face. And it sparked this light inside of me that I wanted to create something for her. Our society was going through a lot. Y'all were there, you remember. But I wanted to plant a seed of knowledge and possibility and quickly share the importance of what it looks like to have a healthy democracy. I wanted to instill the power of our vote, the power of our voice, and how important it was to impact our communities through engagement and our country. So I wrote, I Can't Wait to Vote. As I said, we were going through a lot. I personally was coming out of my first trimester with my second child, 3 straight months of morning sickness. All of the world was in the lockdowns, COVID lockdowns, fighting against COVID lockdowns, disinformation was running rampant. George Floyd had just been murdered. Many of us in an uproar, Black Lives Matter protests taking over the nation, and we were in a very toxic political landscape, one that we have yet to come out of. All of this was happening as I'm looking at my growing belly and over at my 5-year-old daughter and wondering, what is this world that I'm having to raise my children in? What is happening? What can I do? In that exact moment, all I could do was write the words, I can't wait to vote. And as I began the writing process, I would think about how far we've actually come. All the things that we get to vote for and vote on, because there was a time that our voice, our vote, our power didn't hold much weight in this country. And I know there are times that it still feels like that now. But I would think about my grandmother who was born just a few years after the ratification of the 19th Amendment, the amendment that would grant many women the right to vote, the amendment that we are all celebrating that gave way to Women's Equality Day. But I would think about my grandmother, who was raised in the Jim Crow South, who was becoming of age, bearing and raising children, working, an active part of her community, yet her vote was stripped away. Her voice stifled, her power diminished, all because she was a Black woman in the South who didn't have the same rights as her white sisters. And I remember, or I could imagine, my grandmother thinking to herself, I can't wait to vote. But her, along with a myriad of marginalized groups of women all throughout this country, would have to wait. It would take 55 years from 1920 to 1955 or 1975 for all women to have the access to vote without consequence. That's a long time. So it brings me to a really unfortunate truth. For the last 103 years, equality has sounded really good on paper. But treating everyone the same, when some of us are faced with systemic barriers to progress and unable to live freely without harm, that same equality doesn't hold as much weight. So in 2023, when we are being asked to look away from diversity, equity, and inclusion, I begin to realize how daunting the task is to ensure that everyone continues to not only survive, but actually thrive. So when we think of women's rights issues like reproductive health, equal pay, maternity leave, workplace discrimination, how do we begin to examine the impact on women without examining the intersection of race, of gender, of disability, of nationality, particularly when we're having to look away from what it means to be diverse and equitable and inclusive. So I would be lying to you if I didn't still look at my 8-year-old daughter now and my son who is Earthside and still think about those questions. What is happening in this world that I'm raising my children in? Anyone else asking themselves those questions? What is going on? Why are we having to fight for the progress that we've already made? So what can we do? And I turn back to this book, I Can't Wait to Vote. This book that I wrote for my daughter and for my son and for all the littles to plant that very first seed of hope, of knowledge, of possibility, and what a healthy democracy looks like. So I like to read my dedication to all of you. To my children and future generations, may you realize the importance of voting before you ever turn 18, so that you take on the right to vote with pride and you never miss an election, ever. Remember, every election matters and it shapes our democracy for the present and the future. But here is what I didn't write in this book that I want to share with all of you today. Voting matters, yes, but voting responsibly matters even more. So on this Women's Equality Day, what does it mean to vote responsibly? Voting responsibly means that we are looking to vote with intersectionality in mind. Because when we focus on and we show up and we vote for the most marginalized within our communities, we all get to win. And I don't know if you've heard this before, but it bears repeating. None of us are free until we are all free. So only in solidarity do we actually get to rise. Because too often do we walk through the doors of equality only to cross the threshold to unleveled ground. So instead, let us stand on the shoulders of our foremothers. Let us show up and remember and realize all the adversity that they faced every single step of the way. Because what we're witnessing right now is the backlash to all the progress that we have made. This is backlash. Backlash because we challenge what Pernod was saying, power structures. Backlash to challenging our ability to just want to be here and represented in our society. The challenge for challenging white supremacy, the patriarchal visions of the past, so that we can actually create a way for diversity, equity, and a more inclusive future for all of our babies. So only together are we able to actually be unstoppable, right? So may we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all of us are created equal. And from the lyrics of one of my favorite songs in Hamilton, the musical. Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. History is happening right before our eyes. So look around. Look at all these amazing humans. How lucky we are to be alive, to be right here in this moment, in this time, to have the blueprint of our foremothers, to continue this suffrage movement right along, but this time including all of us. Let us show them that we are still here. Let us show them that we are still standing tall and that we are ready to rise to the occasion, that we are ready to answer the call of change to not only mend the fabric of a broken nation, but expand the quilt of possibilities until all of us are truly equal, until we are all truly free. So thank you, and happy Women's Equality Day. Thank you. Mandy.
Good evening, everyone. I have the honor now of introducing you to our moderator for our esteemed panel this evening, Alexia Cox. Alexia Cox serves as Deputy Chief Assistant State Attorney in the Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office. She supervises the Domestic Violence Unit, the North and South County Courthouse offices, and County Court. She was instrumental in creating and now supervises the Conviction Review Unit as well. When the workday ends, her service to the community does not. She believes that mentors matter, and she serves as a mentor to young women and single mothers through Hearts for Moms and Guardians of the Glades. She selflessly lends her time and talents in support of community groups, youth programs, and other organizations. She graduated with honors from both UCF and the FSU College of Law. No one's going to say anything about that? I'm not, but you all are welcome to. Her contributions to the legal profession and community are too numerous to detail today. But suffice it to say, she's a dedicated leader, an advocate, and a generous volunteer, which has been recognized many times over. I just want to mention one recent accolade that Alexia won, which is that she was crowned the Dancing Queen of Palm Beach County when she won the Women's Chamber of Commerce Dancing with Our Stars dance competition. And this really speaks not only to her talent as a dancer, but also to her commitment. She practiced countless hours for that competition so that she could win, but more importantly, so that she could raise funds for the Chamber's Charitable Foundation. So with that, please allow me to welcome Alexia Cox and our panel to the stage.
All right, so what we're gonna do is start by having everyone introduce themselves, and you all are really in for a treat because as you can see, these are some heavy hitters throughout our community, locally in Palm Beach County, and they have been making impact around our state. So I'm going to give each person an opportunity to introduce themselves, beginning with a bit of intro about you, what you are most passionate about, and how that has led into your current role. So I'm going to start to my immediate left here with Ms. Emerson.
I get a microphone. Hello. Hi, my name is Emerson Ferry. I'm a senior at Suncoast Community High School. And, oh, hello, Bubble. So I started off working with period poverty, which, if you don't know what period poverty is, it's the inadequate access to menstrual hygiene products. Basically, no pads, no tampons, we can't afford it. So basically what I started doing was my freshman year of Suncoast. Now I'm a senior, so it's been 4 years. It's crazy how time flies. I started off in a club called Girls Help Girls, where we got donations of pads and tampons. And then I moved on to the Coalition Against Period Poverty, which now I'm the president of. And what we do is we talk to legislators and school board members to try to get free period products in all schools in Palm Beach County, not only Palm Beach County, in all of Florida. And we actually just passed a bill to make it optional for all schools to do that. So that's a little bit about me.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what I like about Emerson's story is that she proves that you can never be too old or too young to make an impact.
Hi, everybody. I made sure to sit where I could see those paddles so Taquita doesn't have to bring out the hook. My name is Susie Diaz, and I am so honored to be here with you today. I am in my first term on the council in the city of Green Acres, having been an incumbent of 11 years by 45 votes. So every vote does count. I am so honored to be a Palm Beach County native, first generation born here in the United States of immigrant parents. I'm a proud graduate of both Palm Beach State and Florida Atlantic University. Hoot, hoot. And what inspires me? Did you hear her? That's what inspires me. Youth inspires me every single day to do what I do, to be able to represent my community, to be able to look up at those that inspired me, that helped me climb the ladder, and look below and see those that are coming up next and help them climb that ladder and get up to that next rung. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much to the Women's Foundation and Rory's Readery for sponsoring this wonderful event today.
Thank you, Susie. And she means what she says. I've met Susie not too long ago, and she is someone who believes in uplifting other women in our community. So thank you, Susie. Mayor.
No longer mayor. Good evening. My name is Melissa McKinley. As Alexia referenced, I served as the mayor of Palm Beach County and served on the Palm Beach County Commission for 8 years. And today is actually the 9th anniversary of the day I won my primary. So what a better way to celebrate that anniversary than to be among such a wonderful group of leaders. I mean, I can tell you what I am. Of course, I was a county commissioner. I'm now working for WGI, which is a national engineering firm. So it's interesting to be a woman working in a relatively known man's world. But I'm working for a company that believes in women and believes in elevating women into leadership positions. So very proud to be there. But who I am, I'm the daughter of a woman. My mother passed away in August of 2017. But back in the 1960s, my father always said I got my political desire from my mother. She was a volunteer and a university student. She was working during the civil rights movement, registering voters in the Black communities in Boston. She was protesting the war. She was fighting for women. She just raised me as a woman that believes that everybody is equal and that we're all people and we're all human first and that we should work with each other and lift each other up. So I've tried to instill that as a single mother of my own 3 kids. I still call them kids. They're 25, 23, and 22, but they'll always be babies. I'm very happy. I can't wait for this conversation today. Just to back Alexia up, I'm also a graduate of Florida State University, so go Noles.
Thank you, Melissa. And you have made an impact when everyone still refers to you as mayor or commissioner after you've moved on. So that's just a testament to the amount of service she has given us here in Palm Beach County. Thank you.
My name is Shakoya Key, and I'm a Palm Beach County organizer for Florida Rising. I am also a Lady Hope dealer. My passion is the youth. I feel like a lot of the times the kids don't get a fair chance in life, period. And I feel like a lot of things get overlooked. When it comes to the youth, we don't check their mental health. That's not like a priority, you understand? And a lot of times our youth be going through things and nobody pays attention and nobody knows. And I am that mentor that I ask questions, I pop up, I'm at the school, you know what I'm saying? So my passion is the youth. I was one of those young women that grew up without a mother. My mother passed when I was 5, so I grew up with a mother figure, but not my mom. So I always had a lot of questions. I would question myself, like, how would my life be different if my mom was here? Would I be going through this if my mom was here? And a lot of the time, our youth are going through the same things. Yeah. I grew up very angry until I got intertwined with myself. And I feel like me being able to go through that made me the person that I am today. And I want to help those kids that are going through the same thing I went through and to let them know, like, to never give up. So my youth is, my passion is definitely the kids. I love the kids. I'm a big kid. And that's why I am a Lady Hope dealer.
Thank you. Thank you for what you are doing.
Hello, my name is Mavis Petway, and I am also a Lady Hope dealer. We are, the organization is called Inner City Innovators. I've been with the organization since 2016, where we started working with only inner city young men in the community. And back in 2021, we were able and blessed enough to launch the women, the young ladies part of it. So I'm a mentor for the young, not just young ladies, but also young men in our inner city. And my passion is youth. Absolutely. The youth in our community. We are based right here in West Palm Beach, but my passion is youth all over. Like, if we can touch one, whether it's here, there, anywhere, we've won. And what brought me to do it is because I was one of them. I grew up right here down in the inner city of downtown West Palm Beach. And growing up, we didn't have many organizations like this, like Inner City Innovators. We didn't have much mentors. And like Shakoya, I also grew up without a mom. So I work with a lot of girls who are pretty much in the same boat as us, growing up in either single parent homes or just doesn't have the guidance that we are trying to give the young women and men in the community. And so every day we get up and we just do the work. We do the work. And my passion is to just change one youth at a time. Like, no matter what they're going through, we're here. Like, we're here. We're out in the community. We're not afraid. We get our hands dirty. We get our knees scraped up. And that's what we're here for. We are hope dealers. And thank y'all so much for having us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mavis. Thank you, Shakoya. I mean, just hearing your story gives me hope. And so I know that what you're doing in the community is leaving a lasting impact with our youth. So thank you. So now we're going to start with our Q&A, ladies. My first question is for, let me go to Councilmember Diaz. When did you start to think of yourself as a leader? And have you faced any obstacles to self-identifying in this way?
I still don't see myself as a leader. I do the work. And my parents, when they immigrated, from a very young age, I was taught to be of service to my community. I was taught that this community that embraced us, that we needed to give back. And so for years, watching my parents as small business owners put aside the business side and helping anyone who walked in the door that had just arrived from another country, it really instilled in me that it was my responsibility to be of service to my community. So that down the line just parlayed into so many different situations and opportunities that I'm incredibly grateful for. And, you know, back to you with your mom, absolutely. It was my tia, it was my abuela, it was my mom. It was all of these powerful women around me that I was so blessed to watch their journey and see how, I mean, literally they were like Kali with 1,000 arms doing 100 things at once. And so taking those concepts and moving forward, the next natural progression for me was to inspire someone to come next. I felt it was a responsibility. So with that said, to this day, I just consider myself to be a servant to my community, not necessarily a leader.
Wow, great answer. And I think what I hear you saying is that leadership is not always about a title. It's about being of service, it's about responsibility, and it's about passion. Yeah. Next question I have is for Ms. Petway. How do you personally define success in your leadership? Success means something different for each of us, especially for women. How do you define success?
My personal definition of success in the role that I play, which is, like she said, not a leader. I'm a lady hope dealer. And I just deal hope on a daily basis to my young women, my young men in the community. So my personal definition of success is seeing them succeed. Like, that's what I'm here for. So when I see them thriving and growing and overcoming everything that they're facing, whether it's school, community, home, that's success to me. That's my way of saying I am successful in what I do. Like, I really did that. Like, this girl here had a 1.5 last year, and she's, you know, like, that is success for me to see the young women and men that do come to us on a day-to-day basis, see them succeed, see them grow. We have girls that's graduating that didn't see that coming. We got young men that was facing all charges and about to be locked up that today are working and they're successful in the things that they're doing, and they basically working shoulder to shoulder with us. And that's my definition of success. If I can help change one at a time. So every child that has grown through coming to us and being in the program, that's my success.
Well, you are both successful in what you do. Ms. Ferry, coming to you now. Yes. As president of a statewide coalition, and that's amazing. Can you talk about your experiences with building coalition and consensus across the state?
Yes, I will. I would say the most important thing for me personally was coming into this almost generational. There were two presidents before me. Coming into this almost generational hierarchy of presidents was I wanted to make sure that we remained in connection with. We have people all the way in Tallahassee. We have other people down in Broward who also go to delegation meetings. They go to the Broward delegation meetings. We go to the Palm Beach Gardens delegation meetings. So we're able to almost tackle multiple different areas at once because raise your hand if you know a woman. You know somebody who bleeds once a month? Every single person here knows one. They live all across Florida. We have menstruators everywhere. So we need to make sure that there's unity across the entire state. And especially with our core foundation of CAP, we want to make sure that everybody is able to be on the same page and is able to make sure that we all know that we're going to tackle one step at a time. After we got our bill passed, now we're on to education, right? We want to go county by county to make sure that every single menstruator in Florida is able to get access to these necessary products, these necessary things that we need to survive, right? Just as accessible as toilet paper. We don't need to go to the bathroom. We don't need to go to the nurse's office to get toilet paper, do we? No, or paper towels. So we want to make sure that every single person that we're working with across all of Florida is just on the same page and our communication is just as perfect as it possibly can be. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, that deserves a hand clap. Ms. McKinley, what advice do you have for women on how to step into leadership roles, how to lead from where you are, and why you should be a mentor?
How much time do we have? Well, my advice is pretty standard. I always say it. Never forget where you came from. Never be afraid to share your story. And never forget the people who were there for you when you first decided to get into the dance. And so anybody who wants to run for office or step into a leadership role, there is no good time. You know, I decided that I wanted to step up my leadership experience right after I found out I was getting divorced. I had $50 in the bank account. I had no job, and my former husband had let the house fall into foreclosure before he moved out, and I had 3 kids to feed. You would think that was probably not a good time to start thinking about getting into a leadership role, but I thought, what better time was there? Because you have the opportunity to try to create a community that would allow women who are in my situation to be able to step up. So there is no good time. And the very worst thing that someone can tell you is no. You know, if you put your name on the ballot, if you apply for a job, if you apply for a scholarship, you took that step. And if they tell you no, that's okay. You dust yourself off and you start for the next one. And so the importance of mentorship is, I'm seeing my yellow flag here. We can't do anything we do alone. There has to be a team effort. And so find somebody that needs some help, that just needs somebody to call and check on them. That's mentorship too. But just try to be there for people. Try to listen more than you talk, and always reach out that hand to try to lift somebody else up. We're in this together.
Right. Thank you. Ms. Key, coming to you now. Let's talk about generational work. What do you think about the way multiple generations work together in the Lady Hope Dealers? Do you think it helps you all grow and be more effective in your mission?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. I'm actually building multi-generational growth in our job. My daughter is a part of Lady Hope Dealers, and she's 8 years old. She is a huge impact on the boys, whether you believe it or not. I was just telling Mavis, the guys have a little hand clap they do with my daughter when they see her. You understand? And I'm like, oh, where did y'all get that from? You understand? If they don't see her, they're questioning, where is she? You understand? So I use that to impact them. You understand? I tell them, I'm like, you have little people like her looking up to you. You understand? And you have little people like that at home looking up to you. So that's how I feel like it impacts us.
Great answer. Now, I am a strong believer that mentors matter, just as I hate to say former commissioner, but I have to say commissioner. I just have to. Commissioner McKinley mentioned about mentorship. It matters. So this question is for Councilmember Diaz. If women learn and grow through mentorship, have you seen such growth either in your own leadership journey or through mentoring others?
Without a doubt. And I think the word mentorship, as the word leadership before, these are words that, while they can be defined with maybe 6-7 words in a dictionary, they are so far beyond any definition that's out there. Mentorship specifically. A mentor can be that friend you call and say, "Oh, you need to talk me off a ledge." Or it could be, it could be someone that has had that traditional mentorship role and that has grown with you. I am friends and close with so many women that mentored me, and I see with some of the younger women that I mentor that relationship is evolving, and it is growing in such a beautiful, organic way. I think we not only learn from our mentors, but as mentors, we learn from our mentees. And I think that it is important to recognize that, because education is a constantly evolving situation. We never stop learning. So without a doubt, not only has it affected my personal journey, but hopefully it has impacted those that have mentored me and those that I have turned around and mentored as well.
Wonderful answer. Ms. Ferry, coming back to you. From the perspective of a youth-led organization, can you tell us about your understanding of equity and your work to create equity for other students?
I would say the main thing, especially youth working in such a stigmatized topic and period poverty that not many people know about, is just providing these mentorators with the accessibility of the resources that they do truly need, that they need to have to be able to go to class. 1 in 4 menstruators misses some class time. They miss some crucial education time that they're not able to go to just because they're worried about bleeding through their pants, just because they don't have the necessary products that they need to go to class and keep their mind on the class. So I think the most important thing equity-wise, especially as a youth leader and all of our youth leaders in the coalition, is that we want to make sure that we focus on getting the youth heard, and that every single person that we are representing knows that they are being heard, they have a voice, that we're listening to them, that they matter, and that we want to do anything that's possible to benefit them. And we make sure that every single menstruator has access to these products and is able to get them without any hesitation, without needing to have 25 cents in their pocket at school. No one has 25 cents in their pocket at school. We want to make sure that the access is there, and the access is easy and non-discriminatory and very anti-stigmatized.
Great. Yeah. Wonderful response. Okay, pass the mic to Councilmember Diaz. It's back to you. Okay, we were talking about representation earlier, and oftentimes people will say you can't be what you don't see. And I hate to use the word can't, but I'll say it like this: it's hard to be it when you don't really see it. Can you speak on that? Now, although at least a quarter of Palm Beach County's residents are Hispanic or Latinx, you are one of few Hispanic elected officials. Can you speak to your view of the importance of representation in leadership?
Okay, I'm going to try to speak real fast. So I'm going to channel my Latin roots here because I've got a minute and a half and there's a lot to say. So nationally, there are about 500,000 elected positions, of which Hispanics make up less than 8,000. It's less than 2%. If we go to the women's statistic, it drops even lower. Yet nationally, that we know of, per the census, we are at about just shy of 20% of Hispanic population. Why is this an issue? Well, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're usually on the menu. And it's not, and I'm not just talking about our Hispanic community, I'm talking about all of our diverse communities. Equity and inclusion on every dais, in every municipality, at every level, state, federal, everything is so incredibly necessary to be able to bring the well-rounded perspective that you need to serve your community. Period. End of story. I'm just going to leave it there.
All right. Mic drop. Okay. Okay, well, go ahead and keep the mic, Ms. McKinley, because I want you to talk about the importance of wielding power and influence in a way that empowers others.
All right, well, let me use a few examples of things that we did. Number one, there's no I in team. I know that's cliche, but it's so true. So, how do you wield your power and how do you do that in a way that helps others? And I can think back to two different projects that I worked on, one before I was elected and one after I was elected. The one before I was elected was with a state senator, and we developed the Rape Treatment Center in Palm Beach County and developed the first sexual assault response team. So that means that anybody who is a victim of, or the survivor, I should say, of sexual assault now has a place where they can go and they can get the treatment they need by a certified nurse, and then they can get the follow-up care, and they have a team of advocates working with them. How did we do that? We built a team, we built a coalition. You know, Taquita, that's how we first worked together, was on that coalition. The state attorney's office was on that coalition. We brought in private business, we brought in stakeholders. We picked out leaders who were from opposite sides of the aisle but had common ground on this issue. So how do you wield your power? You use it by building the right network, the right team to do something good that gives back to the community, and then you use that to be able to provide a safe place for somebody to go and get the help that they need. The other one was the addiction emergency room, and that was personal for me. So we did the same exact thing. We built together a team statewide, and now we have a place where someone is suffering from substance use disorder and they're in an emergency situation, they have a safe place to go. That's how you wield your power in a positive way, and you do it with a good team.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I have a couple questions for our Lady Hope dealers. And so one of these questions is actually a little bit of a surprise because I know that you can answer it, and I think it's important that we share it with the people that are here today. So I'm going to ask this question to Ms. Petway. What do you feel from the girls that you work with? What is the biggest issue or problem affecting young girls?
The ones that I work with, I would say mental health is for sure is one of our top issues that we deal with. And from prior girls that I've worked with, sadly, it was abuse, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. So mental health is like top. We don't talk about it. We do, but I'm saying worldwide it's coming up to surface. But a lot of girls we work with are, we work with mostly inner city girls, and that's what we're trying to bring to the inner city is mental health is important.
Yeah.
And what we deal with working with these girls is the parents, the peers, the sisters, brothers, they don't want to talk about it. They don't believe it. We don't get depressed. We don't get, and stuff like that. We don't go through that kind of stuff. And actually, that's what y'all going through. Like, from the mom on down to the last child in the house. So that's what we're fighting right now. We're fighting this mental health issue with not just our girls, our boys. And that's why we don't just work with the children. We work with the parents.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great answer. Thank you so much. Ms. Key. How can organizations and people in power, such as those of us here and on this panel, support young people to step into leadership roles and truly believe in their abilities?
I feel like they have to have more mentoring. There needs to be mentoring, I believe, in all Palm Beach County schools. There needs to be a safe place that a child feels like they can go to. So if the county commissioners and the school board can come together and get mentoring into the school system, I think it'll help tremendously with our youth because they're at school majority of the day. If they had someone there, a safe place that they can talk to, confide in, let loose on, whatever it may be, I feel like it would make a major difference.
Thank you. I mean, we're here and we're talking today about empowering women and girls. So it's important for us to not leave girls out of the conversation. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about mentorship, period poverty. It's time for us to really step up our conversation and include our girls in that conversation. So I think I have, make sure that I'm following all the rules here. As you know, I'm a prosecutor. I follow the rules. And I think that was my last question. And so what I'm going to do right now, if it's okay with Taquita, I don't want to get in trouble, is that I want to first of all, thank our amazing, amazing group of panelists here. And I'm going to just go down and ask for them to say one quick word of empowerment or impact that they want to impart upon our young girls, our young women who are here today with us. Real quick, just one little quick thing.
That's hard. I would say uncomfort. Can I explain it a little bit?
Yeah, go.
I would say just to find comfort in the uncomfortable and just know that if you are making a difference, you're going to make people uncomfortable. You're going to make people look away from you. You're going to make people not want to look at you, not make eye contact with you. But that's how you know it's working. That's how you know you're fighting the good fight and you are making change. So uncomfort.
Thank you. Round of applause for Miss Emerson. Thank you so much.
Unapologetic. You belong. You know more than you think you do. And you have everything already within you to make change happen. Too many times we put ourselves in a corner or in a back seat because we feel we aren't enough. You are enough, and be unapologetic about it.
Yes, thank you so much. Round of applause for Councilmember Susie Diaz. Thank you.
2 words, own it. It's okay if you mess up. It's okay to admit that you've made a mistake. It helps you grow. You can move on from it. It helps other people see that you're a real human being too. So just own it.
Thank you. Round of applause for our former Palm Beach County Mayor and Commissioner Melissa McKinley. Thank you.
My word is hope. There's hope in every situation, and I feel like if we let the kids know that there's hope, everything will have a better outcome, because too many of them give up. Once they give up, then nobody's gonna do it for them. So my word is hope.
Thank you. A round of applause for Ms. Sequoia Key, our Lady Hope Dealers Youth Representative.
I have 2 words. Be you. Be you. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about what nobody else have to say. Don't be in the corner, and just don't be afraid. Not being afraid will be one of mine. Don't be afraid to be who you are. You're not supposed to fit in. You're here to stand out. Be you.
That's right.
That's just it.
That's right. Take up space. Be who you are meant to be, who you were created to be. And with that, a round of applause for Ms. Key, the Lady Hope Dealers. Thank you. Melissa McKinley, thank you. Susie Diaz, thank you. Emerson Petway, thank you very much. I think my job here is done. Thank you all for being here. And I appreciate you all for inviting me to moderate this panel today.